Alright, how's it going today, everyone? This is Sage, and today we're going to be talking about Rarity Collection 2. This set comes out on May 24th, 2024, May 22nd at your local OTS. However, we're going to be receiving influencer reveals on Monday, May 13th at 8 a.m. Pacific. This was just confirmed on Friday the 10th. So today we're going to talk about the wish list and predictions that I have for Rarity Collection 2. We're going to talk about some of the confirmed cards, and we're going to go over some reasonings as to why I think that most of these cards will be included in Rarity Collection 2. If you guys enjoy it, make sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subs. We're about halfway there, and we've gotten one video up. So I truly do appreciate you guys. And yeah, let's hop on over and talk some cardboard. So first things first, we have DD Crow. We have a lot of hand traps that are already confirmed, kind of similar to Rarity Collection 1. We got DD Crow, we got Droll, we got Mourner and Ogre and Phantasme. Then we have Magician Souls for the DM players. This card's always been like $20-$30+, even after reprints. So having 7 new accessible rarities for it's going to be really, really nice. Pearly is getting reprinted. This kind of confirms that it's not going to be in tins, because there's really no reason for them to print it 7 times in Rarity Collection 2, and then go ahead less than 6 months later and then reprint it again in the Mega Tins. Rescue Cat is in there. Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman. These are pretty big because with the new Yugi support out of Legacy of Destruction, it's based around Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman, and these have not received a reprint since way back when on the Duelist pack. I think it was called Rival of the Pharaoh. So these getting accessible reprints is pretty nice. Nice little collection pieces for the Yugi collectors out there. We got Saravis, Book of Eclipse, and Book of Moon. These were both confirmed also, along with Emergency Teleport, Gold Sark, and Prep of Rites as like more generic kind of spells. And then from here we get into the Pearly spells. We have My Friend Pearly, Pearly Pretty Memory. Those were the only 2 that were confirmed, so we don't know if we're getting the Field spell or any of the other quick play spells, or even any of the other like Xyz monsters. It would be pretty cool, but so far no word on that yet. And then we also know we're getting the Visa Starfrost lore field spells, like Calarium for Mid-Adium, Raceoth for Kashtira, Perlarino for Tier, and Reichphobia for the Scareclaws. And they also gave us the Solemn trio of Judgment, Warning, and Strike. These will be pretty cool. Judgment just had like 2 accessible reprints in the last year, so this one's kind of weird, especially considering it does have high rarities, such as like the Ghost. It also has a Lost Art. So these were a little weird, but I guess I can understand why they're doing more printings of the Solemn cards. And then the only other cards really that were confirmed were Access Code Talker, IP, and Appaloosa. So with these, they're like pretty good extra deck monsters. Access Code was always like $30-$40 for every copy, even the gold for a while. However, when they announced that this reprint was coming with the Rarity Collection 2, the gold quickly shot down. Yeah, and then we get into the side decks. So these are the original arts of the current confirmed alt arts that we're getting. Droll, Phantasme, Mourner, Ogre, Rescue Cat, Apo, and IP. So it's funny because when the first product page dropped announcing Rarity Collection 2, they announced IP, Appaloosa, and Rescue Cat as variant arts. We didn't know anything about the original arts until GTS Distribution, which is a North American-based TCG distribution company. They had a little little sentence in their listing that said 2 of these cards are also available with their variant art. However, we had 3 variant arts confirmed in the IP, the Apo, and the Rescue Cat, just based off of the initial product listing on the official Yu-Gi-Oh website. So we knew, okay, well, 3 of these are getting printed as alt arts. the distro link is saying, okay, well, 2 of these are also being printed as variant arts. So that means one of the arts is likely not getting the original artwork printed. And it was really speculated that IP Masquerena was not going to receive the original art because they had just gave IP a quarter century rare and a reprint secret in Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge last summer. So it wouldn't really make sense to give it a second quarter century and double dip on the quarter century. It's fine, you know, in their eyes if they do Starlight reprint to quarter century because it's a new rarity. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but
what's up, Ma?
Gotta happen, I guess. Just to get more copies out, and who knows why they really want to do it. But then they went ahead and updated the product listing page. They like stealth updated it in February. I think it was February 8th, if I remember right. However, this was the same day that distribution pre-orders were due on GTS, and I assume other distributor sites as well. So what I'm assuming happened there to get them to update the product page is that there weren't enough pre-orders coming in, and people were like, okay, we don't know enough about what's going to be in this set, so we don't know how much we need to order. Like we don't know if it's even worth it with the increased MSRP per pack, and we don't know if the consumers are going to purchase it. So I'm assuming pressure from LGSs and other distributors kind of made Konami add a little more information to hopefully entice people to pre-order more of this product. That's my assumption, coming from, you know, just a vendor, or a backpack vendor, I guess. I don't have a TCG shop yet, but just doing the TCG player and the whatnot. But that's my assumption as to why they added the extra information. But when they did a really weird thing. So we had already had Troll, Phantasme, Mourner, and Ogre announced. However, they added a little parenthetical after they announced those, all with their variant art. And it's like, okay, well, we had 3 alt arts already confirmed. GTS was saying 2 of these 3 will also be available as variant art, and now we're getting 4 new variant arts. So we know the set size is 79, and with alt arts, based on the precedent of Rarity Collection 1, the alt arts and the original art share the same set number, so they're considered 1 card but 2 prints. So it's Rarity Collection 1, it had 79 total cards in the set list. But it had 81 unique cards, including the Eldritch alt art and the Unicorn alt art. So I assume it's going to be something similar here. Rarity Collection 2's size on the product page is listed as 79 cards, which is the same as Rarity Collection 1. It's really weird. I thought that was a placeholder for the longest time, but here we are less than 2 weeks from release, and it's still saying that it's 79 cards, so I'm assuming that's correct. Kind of weird, because Rarity Collection 4 for OCG, which was TCG's Rarity Collection 1, that was 80 cards. It was a flat 80, because they have Max C. But we didn't get Max C because it's banned in the TCG, and they don't want to print product where new players or consumers can purchase said product and get a banned card and try to add it to their deck because they're like, wow, I just got a really cool card, and just to find out that they can't legally play it in tournaments or locals or anything. So that's why they kind of stray from reprinting banned cards. But yeah, for some reason they did the alt art thing, and then they gave us the books. I think Gold Sark, E-Telly, I can't remember what else was in that post. It was a decent amount of cards that they gave us, mainly to get pre-order interest up. And with this, we have about 30-ish, almost, out of the 79. So we're still pretty far away. We need about 50 more cards to flesh out the whole set list. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into my wish list and my personal speculation based on the past trends of Rarity Collection 1, and just kind of what I think would help bolster a more active legacy format, like Time Wizard format scene, and help people get more accessible cards that have been pricey for a while. We hop on over, and some of this too is based on upcoming support that is rumored. Like, as you can see, we have Atlantean Dragoons up here. I included all of the Dragon Rulers specifically because they all just recently got unbanned, with Title being the final one. And in the original product page, they say something about Waterfall, and Title is the Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls, and it's a little foreshadowing. So we can assume that all 4 of the Dragon Rulers will get, 7 updated printings. I would like all of them to come back to 3. I don't think they'd be too much trouble. The deck it was good, but I'm not sure if it could perform. I would imagine maybe it could perform as like an engine, but again, I guess we'd have to just wait and see. I included Blue Eyes Alternative here because every single printing of this card is like $15+, and if you play Blue Eyes, you have to run this card. I couldn't tell you how many you have to run. I don't play the deck, but I do know this card has been pricey for a very long time, and it makes a really big barrier to entry for anybody wanting to play their Nostalgia Blue Eyes deck. So an alternative reprint would be really good. Malicious, our fella, he's finally at 3. I think they could use this opportunity to reprint him in the 7 different rarities, give him a couple blinged out rarities. I think right now high rarity is the secret. So give him a quarter century, give him a PCR, give him a plat secret, give him an accessible secret even. However, they did just reprint this in Battles of Legend Chapter 1 a couple months ago. So I'm not sure if this will be in here. This is kind of wishful thinking. I don't think they would double dip on the reprints that quickly, but we have seen similar cases where they have. Pankratops, this is one that people speculated for, quite a while. Pank is at 2, he used to be at 1. I think he can come back to 3. He's like worst Fenrir, essentially. So Pank getting 7 printings, I think that would be really cool. I think, everybody would appreciate having a blinged out Pankratops without having to spend like $100+ on the collector rare. Another hero card. We have the Malicious, and then we have the Shadow Mist. So if you don't know, Shadow Mist high rarity is a first edition super rare from the hero structure. And this is a required card if you're going to play the deck. There's no reason that the high rarity should be a first ed super from a structure deck. They gave hero, I think it was 2 cards last time. They gave them Ferris, and what else did they give them? I thought they gave them one other card in Rarity Collection 1, but let me know if you guys can think of it. Type it in the comments for me. But it only makes sense for them to give like 2-ish cards to heroes, just to, let them have something. It's one of the most popular archetypes in the entire game, and it has been since GX. So I think Shadow Mist finally getting a higher rarity would be beneficial, and I think it'd be a really good choice. Shadow Mist is a really sick looking card, and I could just imagine a beautiful PUR, Prismatic Ultimate Rare, with Shadow Mist on it. Next we have Gamma Seal. So Gamma Seal and Santa Claus both I included here. So we had Lava Golem in Rarity Collection 1, and that kind of is the Kaiju-esque card, for Rarity Collection 1. It was also a DM era card. But Gamma Seal being the most popular kaiju to run because of its low attack, and Santa Claus just being a unique kaiju in itself. I think both of these have a potential to be in Rarity Collection 2. I would love to see both. I really like Santa Claus. I personally own the Speed Duel Ultras of this, and I have owned the Gold Secrets, like 2 playsets of that. And the Gamma Seal did just get reprinted though as a promo in Battles of Legend Chapter 1. It's kind of the same issue we have with Malicious, where we don't know if they're going to double dip, and it's probably too soon to cash in on another reprint. But who knows? I think it's possible. Santa Claus is probably the more likely out of the 2, but Gamma Seal is more wishful thinking. Then we get into more hand traps. We have Reaper, Dogwood, and Herald of Orange Light. Now, with Rarity Collection 1, we had a ton of hand traps. Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Ghost Bell, D-Shifter. We had a ton of them. There's not a whole lot of hand traps left that didn't get reprinted in Rarity Collection 1. So really all we have are Ogre, Warner, which are already confirmed, but then we also have Ghost Reaper and Dogwood. Herald is good. We're getting more Drytron support coming up later in the year. Madolche getting more support later in the year. I think it'd be a good time to bring Herald, another reprint. The last reprint was a super out of OTS, so giving it 7 blinged out rarities, I think it'd be pretty good. And as for the Ghost Girls, just give them the reprints. Let them match with the other Ghost Sisters. Now, you'll notice I have the OG arts down here on the side, and that's because I don't know if they would reprint the alternate art or the original art. Now, with Rarity Collection 1, they reprinted Ash and Belle in their original art. They did not give them the alternate arts because the Rarity Collection 4 and OCG did not have the alternate arts of them. So I don't know if they would just do this, or maybe they just save this for Rarity Collection 3 and reprint the alt arts here. But then I don't know where they would go back in and try to give us 7 prints of Rarity Collection, Ash Blossom and Ghost Bell alt arts. I figure they'd have to do it though if they give us Ogre and Mourner and then Reaper and Dogwood. I figured they'd have to go back and do the alt arts eventually, so who knows. I guess I could figure out a way to squeeze them into Megatins maybe, or I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Ecclesia, this one's kind of cool because this one can be seen as branded support and Sword Soul support, both of which are really popular lore decks. And I just think Ecclesia, the incredible Ecclesia, makes more sense just to give a little bling to. She does have the Starlight, a Prismatic Secret, an Ultra, and I think an original Secret. I can't remember if in Burst of Destiny she was an Ultra or a Secret, but I think 7 more printings here would be really good. So I also added Infernity Archfiend and Infernity Launcher. Both of these, because we're getting Infernity support come Terminal Revenge in June. Launcher, I think it just came to 3 in OCG if I remember on the last list. So this would be a good time to give us 3 printings of this. They did kind of a similar thing with Spellbook of Judgment. Like, it was at 1 when Rarity Collection 1 came out for TCG. And then they just unlimited it. Said, hey, go have fun, play your spellbooks. It doesn't need to be at 1 anymore. So I think they could do something really similar with Infernities here and kind of give Archfiend a high rarity and Launcher just because it's the limited card of the archetype. Archfiend, I think the high rarity, if I remember correctly, is a video game promo. It's an ultra rare. I have one somewhere amongst my collection, but I'm pretty sure that's the high rarity of this, so getting like a blinged out version could be pretty cool. And leaning more toward like legacy players, like people who play past formats, Fairy Lily would be really cool. So it has a couple different common printings and battle packs and stuff like that. But otherwise, the high rarity is LOD First Ed. So this getting a blinged out version, I think could be really cool. Along with Light and Darkness Dragons, so we did get new support announced, like retrains of Light End, Dark End, and Light and Darkness, all the like Chaz dragons. So, and this card has always been like pretty pricey. It's like 5, 10, 15, up to like I think $200, $300 for the Retro Pack Secret. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that sounds about right. I think it'd be good to give it, a little reprint in here. It's used in legacy formats, but it's also being seen play in modern. There's been quite a few decks that have topped with this, and it's kind of impressive. It's a really neat concept, and I'd love to give the deck a try, but right now the barrier to entry is just finding Light and Darkness Dragons because they're so old. Next up we have Miscellaneousaurus. Have you ever read Misk? So this card's at 1, however, I think it needs a high rarity. This card has a gold rare, it has a common, it has a rare from Wild Survivors, and I think that's it. I don't think it ever got a super. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always fine with being corrected. But dinos are always going to be fan favorite. And I think they could use this as a good opportunity to bring Misk to like 2. Don't bring this thing to 3, please. Keep it at like 1 or 2. I don't want to see dinos just running around everywhere. But I think that'd be good to give them a little bit more bling for their deck. Nobody wants to run the gold rare when they're running like collector rare UCTs and collector rare Oviraptors and secret baby Cerasauruses. Another neat one they could do is like Petite Pteranodon. I don't know why. I guess they could include it. It's not really a fan favorite, I guess, but it is needed. So they could do Petite Pteranodon also. When talking about the Visas spells, the field spells, I think they really could just go, okay, give you the Visas spells, give you Visas, and not reprint any of the other stuff, like the Kashtiras or the Scareclaws or the Manadiums. I think that could be a route that they go. So far, Visas has a Starlight as high rarity, and then it has like a secret and I think a prismatic secret, if I remember right. I don't know, I haven't ever owned this card. Specifically because I've never been interested in playing any of the decks that it's in. But this could be a neat little way to add another lore archetype in. And if they want to do something with the Visas lore, like a manga or an anime, this could be just a way to kind of tie all that together. Then I added Skull Servant, okay? So hear me out. We didn't get any vanilla monsters with Rarity Collection 1, but Skull Servant has been a fan favorite since the dawn of the TCG. This thing came out in LOB, and it blossomed into an archetype that is very beloved. People love this deck, and I think doing a little homage to Skull Servant, giving the vanilla monster a bright, blingy, shiny card, I think it would be pretty sick. So I'd really love to see Skull Servant in here. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, you know, go for it. Nobody's going to be sad to pull Skull Servant, even if it's like a super. Because we've seen this in a common for so many years since LOB came out. Give us some foils, you know, let it shine. I think the community would really appreciate that. The next card we have on the list is Illusion of Chaos. Now this one, I'm not really sure if they will reprint it. Magician Souls is already confirmed. It wouldn't make too much sense for them to reprint Magician Souls without doing Illusion of Chaos. They're kind of a package, you have to run both of them. But we've seen stranger things. They could reprint Magician Souls and then not reprint Illusion of Chaos to, you know, because they just reprinted it in Megatons. However, that would cause a spike on the Megaton Secret, the original Secret, and the Starlight for Illusion of Chaos if Magician Souls got, you know, several accessible prints, whereas Illusion of Chaos didn't. Supply on the Magician Souls would increase drastically, whereas Illusion of Chaos does not, so more people are needing the illusion, and they go out and buy them, and it spikes. So I guess we'll see come Monday morning. If this is in the set. If it is, you know, it's a good thing. If it's not, hold on to your Illusion of Chaoses, I guess. Another card I thought would be pretty cool would be Card Destruction, another card that's been around since the start of the TCG, from the very beginning starter decks. This card's been at 1 for ages. I think it deserves to stay at 1. But I also think it'd be cool to have a really hollow print of this card. I think high rarity on this is secret rare out of Yugi's World. I have one somewhere, but I'd love to get like a PUR of this. Do like the PUR foiling around the cards and on the hand and just kind of make it pop. QCR would look pretty cool also, but you guys know me, I love my PURs. And if you don't know, I'm currently in the process of trying to get a whole playset of all 81 cards from Rarity Collection 1 before Rarity Collection 2 releases. I'm currently like 7 cards away from completing this out of the 243. It's kind of insane. I'm so close, man. I'm really looking forward to completing that. Next up, we have some spell and trap destruction, or I guess banishing with Cosmic. But MST is a past format staple. It already has a ton of prints. Give us some more foils. It has a ghost. Does it have an ulti? I don't know if it has an ulti. I can't say I've ever looked up MST. Excuse me. But I think it'd be cool to give it some foil prints, along with Cosmic Cyclone, since Cosmic has been seeing so much play, especially with field spells being, at their height. Like, every single deck runs field spells, including, like, Runic, Tier, Cash. Like, all of these run field spells, and Cosmic Cyclone's a really good out to them because it just banishes it. You pay a little bit in life. Don't use it game 3, otherwise you might lose in time. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool. It has some secrets, it has an ulti. Give it some more prints. I think it's fine. Necro Valley. This is a really big one that needs more printings. So with Necro Valley, I had like a bunch of copies on my desk earlier. Necro Valley has some high rarity prints with Pharaoh's Rares from Magnificent Mavens. I really, really think they should have reprinted this card in Magnificent Mavens as an Ultra, but for some reason they just decided not to, and we just got 2 high rarities, no accessible reprint. This does have like a Duelist League promo, a Duelist Saga Ultra Rare, Dusa, has Pharaonic Guardian, Dark Revelation one. It has several printings, and they're all spiking right now, and this is like a ebb and flow. It comes and goes in meta. So this getting 7 new printings, I think, should help qualm some of the market fluctuations that this card has seen. And I think it's a really pretty card. If you guys saw, I think it was at Worlds when they were doing the VR immersion thing, they played Necro Valley, and the whole surrounding behind them changed into the Necro Valley, and it just looked so cool. I think this card getting some more printings would be much deserved. Gravekeepers are a fan favorite, even though this card sees a lot more play outside of Gravekeepers. It's like a floodgate, but still a really pretty card, a really classic card, and a card that I think deserves 7 more prints. Now we have Pot of Avarice and Pot of Duality. Both of these were not printed in Rarity Collection 1. They did get Pot Collection reprints, however those were not easily accessible at all. So I think giving these a few more printings, especially holo printings. Pot of Duality has like a rare, has some commons, but it doesn't have much for high rarity foils. Like, all the high rarity foils are like really expensive. Even the super rare tin promos are like a few dollars, and I think getting 7 foils out would be really nice. It'd help you match the Pot of Extrav Desires and Prosp from Rarity Collection 1, and then just throw in Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice is an older format staple, like you'd use this. Take 5 monsters from grave, shuffle them in, and draw 2. Games were a lot slower, so you could afford to do that. So just go ahead and reprint it. I think it has Secret out of Joey's World. That sounds about right. So both of these draw cards I think would be really nice for Rarity Collection 2. Just match the other pots. As for draw cards, this is my big spice. I have not heard hardly anyone talking about Upstart Goblin as a potential for Rarity Collection 2, and I think this card is very likely to be in the set, specifically because they just brought it back to 3, and this card has been, very, very powerful since it came out in Magic Ruler. On the other hand, this card has also been very pricey since Magic Ruler. Every single common print that this card has, which is several, has a maximum gold rare, a turbo pack super, Yugi's World ultra rare is a high rarity. Well, high rarity, turbo pack is high scarcity. There is a difference. So when I say high rarity, I'm typically meaning the highest rarity of foiling. instead of scarcity. If I ever say scarcity, it just means it's like a turbo pack or an astral pack, or, you know, you get the gist. So Upstart having more accessible foiling printings would be really nice. All of the common prints are at least $1 or $2 and on up, whereas the foils, I think it has another super secret slayers, I think. Just give it some more prints, tank the price of the commons, aside from First Ed Magic Ruler. There's no reason the card should be $1 for a common. But yeah, give it some more prints, show it some love. It just got off the ban list after spending an eternity at 1. I think it'd be pretty beneficial. And now here we're going to get into 4 different cards that I have for Edison format in particular. These are all traps that are used as mainstays in the format. Bottomless Trap Hole, Dimensional Prison, Raigeki Break, and Torrential Tribute. All of these I think could use more accessible foiling printings. Dimensional Prison, this card's expensive for every single copy, like a common from the Cyber Dragon structure. It's like $5, and I don't think there's any reason this should be $5 for a common. So Konami has already proven that they've been trying to make Edison and past formats more popular and more easily accessible for newer players who are trying to get back into those older formats. They reprinted most of the Blackwing cards in Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. They gave Pulling the Rug a new reprint and an OTS pack. They've shown a lot of love to Edison, but what they haven't done is they haven't reprinted like any of the traps. So I think tossing D-Prison, Raigeki Break, Torrential, Bottomless, I think this is a really good spot and a really good time just to throw all those in there, specifically for the Edison players. And then we get into like Mirror Force and Drowning Mirror Force. These were my 2 picks. Mirror Force because it's, you know, iconic, and Drowning Mirror Force because it's seen play here and there, and I think both of these would be pretty cool. There is an argument for like Blazing Mirror Force, or yeah, I think Blazing was the other one I was thinking of, but these 2 are probably the more likely out of the Mirror Forces. And then Magic Cylinder and Skill Drain. Skill Drain just to include a Floodgate in there. I don't think Anti-Spell would be in here, but especially since they just limited it to 1, but I could be wrong, I guess. Skill Drain, it does have an OTS ulti. It just got a ultra rare from Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 like a year and a half ago. So it's like really cheap right now, and it also got a common, I think, from a structure deck recently. So give them some more foiling printings. Magic Cylinder I just love. I love doing burn decks, so I think Magic Cylinder would be really cool. And then we get into the last 2 cards in the main deck. These are not likely. These will not happen. But I've been a very strong advocate for foil printings for both Plunder Patrol, Booty, and Black Eyes, the Plunder Patrol Sea Guide, specifically because these are the only cards in the Plunder archetype that do not have foil printings. Black Eyes is only available as 2 commons, 1 from the original set and 1 from the Megaton, whereas Booty is just a single print rare. These cards, they're the only 2 cards I need to get foil prints for my deck, so it can be all foil. Every other Plunder card got reprinted in Ghost from the Past 2 as an Ultra. Field Spell, well, Blackbeard didn't. Blackbeard got a secret in Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. So that is one that did not receive a reprint in Ghost from the Past 2. If you guys don't know, when I'm live on Whatnot, I give away a signed Blackbeard secret to all my first-time purchasers. Plunder is one of my favorite decks. I grew to love it through Master Duel. I was going through the story modes, and I just really fell in love with Plunder as a deck style. I really like the unique, gimmicky play styles. Like Plunder, you summon your shipmates, you bring out the captain, you call him up, and then the captain's like, hey, man the ship, you know, bring the ship out from the extra deck. He goes and attaches himself to the ship, he mans it, and then your extra Plunder crew in your hand are the ammunition to use their effects to either destroy spells and traps or destroy monsters. Or it's just a really unique way to play, and I really like that kind of thing. So Valance, when Valance came out, I really enjoyed that playstyle too. I didn't play it in paper, but I did play it in Master Duel a little. However, the one thing I didn't like about Valance is it was just Fossil Dino Turbo, and while I do enjoy playing Stun, I just don't think that was the optimal way that the deck should have been played. I think it should have gotten a little better support, but who knows, maybe in time it will, and we can actually play Valance as a primary deck. And now we're going to get into extra deck cards that I think could be in Rarity Collection 2. First, starting with ABC Dragon Buster. So this card, if you guys have been keeping up to date on OCG News, they just got some updates to X, Y, and Z, the XYZ Dragon Cannon parts. They're getting retrains. Reprint ABC, reprint XYZ, reprint VW, reprint A to Z, reprint VW XYZ, reprint them all. Like, it's a really fun concept. Like, hey, one robot and one robot combine to make a big robot, and then big robot and big robot make a bigger robot. It is so cool. I think ABC would be the better one to reprint because XYZ has a ton of prints and a couple different artworks. ABC, I think, only has 3 prints, if I remember right. It's 2 to 4. So ABC would be a really cool one to reprint. Even reprint the parts, but I doubt that would be a Rarity Collection thing. I think they'd choose just one of the fusions if they choose anything at all. So I think this one would be pretty cool to do. Along with Chimera Tech Fortress. This thing is used everywhere. Edison, Cyber Dragon. You can run this in like tunes if you really wanted. So I think it'd be really cool to see Chimera Tech. This is a fan favorite card. Along with Five-Headed. Five-Headed doesn't have many prints. It has an Ultra from the Dino Smashers deck, or the Dinosaurs Rage, or whatever it was back in the day. And I think it has a Millennium Pack Common, and maybe a couple other prints, but this is a very iconic monster. I still remember the movie way back in the day, watching this guy go ham. And I think it'd be cool as like a little nod to the DM era players and fans. Just, hey, you know, have your blinged out Five-Headed Dragon. It's not gonna do anything, you know, it's just a send for like stun decks. But I think it'd be pretty cool anyway, man. And then we get into some more modern staples with Garura and Dragoon. Both of these I think could use more printings. Garura is, you know, a super poly target, a Dogmatica punishment target. This is just a really good card, and I think it could benefit from 7 additional printings. Whereas Dragoon also only has 2 printings, and it Megaton, both prints. Well, I guess it has a Starlight too, but you know, everyday janitor salary folk like myself, we're not going to be dealing with the Starlights. We're dealing with the peasant rarities. So give us a super, give us a secret, give us a PUR. I'd be really happy with Dragoon. Then here I have a few different Edison Synchros. Edison Synchros are like money, especially like Armed Wing and Magical Android especially. Every single copy of this card is like $18+ right now. And there's just no reason for it. This is your level 5 that you'll play in Edison format. And there's just no reason for it to be that expensive. They're trying to make Edison more accessible. Give this 7 new prints, you know, let people play the card that they want. Nerf the prices of the other prints. I think it'd be really good. Along with Drill Warrior. Drill Warrior, I don't think it sees a ton of play anymore, but this was a card that I really enjoyed. I think this was popular with Quick Draw Dandy, I want to say. I'm not too familiar with Edison, so please help me if I'm wrong. But this card is just sick, man. All of the warriors that Yusei had with all the different synchrons, I really liked that archetype, I guess, that cohesion that they all had. They all had a special synchron monster, and they all, you know, leveled up into a big warrior. And it was just really kind of cool. I think Drill Warrior would be pretty sick to see. All of the prints at one point were quite a few dollars. I think it has an ulti, an ultra, a common, a super. I can't remember what else. I'm pretty sure it has like one or two other prints. But again, this is the warrior that I think would be reprinted out of any of them. Turbo, Nitro, Junk, this, Jet, Satellite. I think Drill Warrior would be the one they go with. More modern cards. Cyframe Lord Omega. Really popular card now that people are using it to hand loop. Just bring it back. Give us some more printings. Trident Dragon is a really big one. A lot of you know Tempai Dragons is out with Legacy of Destruction, and this deck is going bananas. However, not all of our friends were playing for the whole time, so Konami, we just can't simply ask a friend for a $100+ card that they have laying around in bulk. Granted, this card was like $1. I think the ulti was even like $5 or $10 a year ago, so it only spiked because of the Tempai Dragons and how their performance has been through the OCG. And then it didn't help that the whole core when it came to TCG was commons and like 2 supers. So the deck has to compensate money somewhere. We're never going to have a cheap Yu-Gi-Oh deck, so if the core is cheap, the extra deck and all the other cards that play around it are all going to spike because everybody's wanting them, and it's just classic supply and demand. So Trident Dragon, I want to assume that they did the right thing and planned this ahead and said, hey, Tempai is coming out on this day, Rarity Collection's coming out about a month later. I think it'd be really good for them just to reprint this and give us 7 more prints. However, with their announcement of just ask a friend, I'm not too confident on that, but I want to assume that was just a little jest and that they did have this planned all along. And then Red Dragon Archfiend. So I wanted to include a Signer Dragon in this that doesn't have like a Starlight. And so far, AFD, Blackwing, Stardust, all of those have Starlights. And like Power Tool doesn't. Red Dragon doesn't, but I feel like Red Dragon would just be the one that they go with. I think it'd be cool to give it a quarter century. Hell, even Power Tool. I'd really like Power Tool. I love Power Tool and the Morphtronics, but I think Red Dragon Archfiend's the more acceptable, the more likely. It just had a structure deck released, giving it the new retrains and the new resonators, and I think it'd be a good time to reprint a good high rarity RDA. However, this card does have a lot of like commons and low foil rarity printings, so I'm not sure how likely this one is. And then we get into the Link monsters. I only have a couple, because the big ones that needed to be reprinted, like Access Code,
hey, another re,
Link Karibo, and all these other cards. Like Link Karibo's not going to be reprinted because it's banned. IP's already announced, Appo's already announced, Access Code already announced, and they don't really have a ton left. So I think this little suite of Cross Sheep, Nightmare Phoenix, Goddess, and Almirage, I think these would be the 4 that are the more likely of the Link monsters that would be reprinted. Almirage I'd really like to see a high rarity of. I do run this in my Plunder deck. It's like standard, so I'd love to see this. Goddess is really cool, just, kaiju-esque. Phoenix is good, Cross Sheep is good. I think all 4 of those would be really nice to have in high rarities. Then we move on to the last and final section. I have Xyz monsters. Cyber Dragon Infinity I put in here specifically to give Cyber Dragon players some love and give them some high rarities of Infinity. Now they could go with the alt art print. If you guys don't know, this does have an alternate art. They could do that and give it the, treatment that they did with all these other alt arts, but I don't know if that's likely. I assume they're going to eventually try to reprint all of the gold rare alt arts into non-gold rares because people just don't like the maximum gold rares. So it's in the cards. I don't know if it's going to be Rarity Collection 2 though. Maybe Rarity Collection 3 or Megatins or something similar. Gear Gate X. This card is pretty cool. I like the secret. But yeah, this card I just thought would be really cool to have high rarity prints. There's really no other reason other than that. Looks cool. Alucard's seen meta play. It's like really expensive. It's like $7, 5 to 7 for every copy of this now. So I think they could reprint this like they did with the other Ghost Trick, Angel of Mischief in Rarity Collection 1. It'd be a nice little nod for the Ghost Trick players and anyone who needs this card. I think it'd be pretty cool. Then we move on to Draco Sack. So this card has a secret. It has a maximum gold Eldorado gold letter rare. And it has a couple other prints, I think. Maybe not. Those might be 2 of the only prints. But this card has seen, Giga play since it came out. And most recently with the Kashtira deck. And this was very pricey. Even like the gold letter rare was a couple bucks. So give it the accessible reprints. It's a generic rank 7. Next time, generic rank 7s come around, this card's going to see play. Just reprinted Big Eye, which needed it. They did that in Battles of Legend Chapter 1 as a promo. So come on, do Draco Sack. Kashtira would be a little easier to access, with the rest of the extra deck if that was printed. Now this one I only threw in. I can't tell you I know a ton about this card, but we're getting the Light Duelist pack, and I think reprinting the Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon would be kind of sick. It's just a really impressive looking card. It's a very formidable card with 4,500 attack, and it just seems like it'd be one of those random filler cards that they give for an separate archetype, just to give them a little bit of love. So that's one thing that, could happen. As for the final 2 cards, I put both Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future on here. I don't think they would go ahead and reprint one without the other, but, again, stranger things have happened. So I'd like to see both get reprinted. Right now, World Superstars Prismatic Secret is the highest rarity for Utopic Future, and the Collector Rare at a King's Court is a high rarity for UDF. So give them matching rarities. Right now, they do not match at all. I'm pretty sure Utopic Future has the Prismatic Secret and a rare, and UDF has the Ultra, the Collector Rare, and it has a secret out of Crystal Revenge. So give them matching rarities, give them the Rarity Collection treatment, and I think it'd be pretty nice and pretty beneficial. And with that kind of wraps up my whole ramble on the Rarity Collection 2 predictions and wish lists. If you guys have any cards that you want to see in Rarity Collection 2, leave them in the comments for me. I do read all my comments, and I appreciate you guys a lot. Taking the time out of your day to get this far into the video and to leave comments, likes, and just to support me as we grow the channel. I've been doing content on and off since 2016, and I decided just to make a brand new channel as opposed to trying to go back to my old channel, specifically because my old channel wasn't getting YouTube algorithm hits, because the channel was being seen as, oh, this channel's like 12 years old, and it's very low watch time because I took so many breaks away from content creation. But this time around I feel like it's different. I'm not going to burn myself out on streaming. I'm not going to burn myself out on trying to grind YouTube like 5, 6, 7 videos a week. I'm not going to focus on the TikTok or the Instagram or any of that other stuff. I'm just going to kind of go as I go, and I'm really glad to have you guys along for the ride. We're almost at 50 subs after our first video, which is crazy, and I can't thank you guys enough. So if you guys enjoyed, toss a like to me, comment, help me out in the algorithm, and sub if you guys are new. Depending on when we hit 100, we will likely do a giveaway. More information on that will be to come later. If you guys are seeing this before May 15th, I'm going to leave a link down below to my high rarity whatnot show. I'm going to be selling a lot of high rarity cards from all sorts of formats, with the highlights being the Unlimited Black Rose Dragon Ulti, Power Tool Ghost, and the AFD Ghost. And this AFD is the cleanest looking ghost that I have seen. The surface has 0 scratches on the foil, on the front, on the back, nothing. Has a little bit of stuff wrong with the corner, but it's like so minor. Like these are so clean. They're all unlimited prints. These, along with several dozens of other cards, as you can see in the box, will be up for auction. That's May 15th at 5 p.m. Central. If you guys join Whatnot using my link, you guys can get a $15 voucher to use on my shows. My voucher does not work on other people's shows. But yeah, if you guys join using my Whatnot link, you guys can have $15 to buy an Ultimate Rare or a Quarter Century or Prismatic Collector. That $15 credit does not apply for tax or shipping, so you do have to pay out of pocket for those, but come hang out. Again, that's May 15th, 5 p.m. Central. I'd appreciate seeing you guys all there, and that's about all we have. Rarity Collection 2 predictions. I'm excited for Monday. Hope you guys are too, and I hope you guys stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.